That's convinced you to try to get married this year, to bring your wedding forward, who knows, but all the very best. Today, millions of us will make New Year's resolutions, of course. I don't know whether you've made any yet or not. I'll just stick to the same one I do every year, really. Probably try and do a bit more exercise, but maybe it's cutting down on fatty foods, get fit, maybe save some money. How many of us actually keep our New Year's resolutions, though? If you want to make one, but are worried about sticking to it, perhaps we can help in the final few minutes of the programme, because here in the studio we've got psychologist Dr. David Holmes and Yvonne Goodwin, who's an independent financial advisor. David, to you first of all.
Okay.
When did we start making New Year's resolutions?
I think the Babylonians, actually. They
really?
Used to, yeah, Romans, they had the Janus god that they used to do stuff every year. It does have a lot of kind of like religious background. However, it kind of really got into its own when we had realistic things that we actually needed to do. And the idea of this public declaration at the beginning of the year, I mean, it's new year, new leaf, new start, that kind of idea, but it's the worst possible time.
Do people ever, I mean, some people stick to them, in fairness. It'd be wrong to say, do people ever stick to them, but
10%.
Is that right?
Unfortunately, yeah, but 88% people just
And there's the research to prove that.
Yeah. Between 80 and 88% from surveys don't make it. About 5 weeks is the most, you know, that people make it. It's not good, obviously. So I don't know why we keep making a big thing of it, because the more you make a big thing of it, the more likely you're setting yourself up to fail. And it's also got this thing, it's like, you know, you make to-do lists.
Yes.
Yeah? Once you put something on a to-do list, it's done. It's finished with. You don't need to do it. You've already written it down. And the same with this public declaration. I've told everybody, it's a bit like marriage. You go out in public, we're going to do this, then it's done. We don't really need to do it.
Yvonne, one of the things that is now increasingly popular as a New Year's resolution is to save more money, and of course in these sort of fiscally difficult times, I guess that's why. And do you see people come to you and say to you as a financial advisor, help?
Yes, it happens quite a lot now, because we've had such a difficult time in the last 4 years, and people are keen to avoid their own fiscal cliff, to use that awful hackneyed phrase that keeps being bandied about.
What are your top tips then for anybody who might think, you know, lots of people don't have much spare money to put aside. If they've got a few pounds, what are the best advice to them?
Well, there's really only 3 things you can do. You can spend less, you can save more, or get a better return on your investments.
Right.
And within all that, the key thing is budgeting. I know it sounds really boring, but if you get control of the money that you've got coming in and what's going out, and if you're in control of it, you feel an awful lot better about your finances.
So at some point you've got to sit down and go through, or you almost sit down and do your balance sheet and work out what you can save and where you can
Planning
save
for it, I think, is the problem, isn't it?
It
You know,
is.
you actually have to do it, rather than this kind of like blindly running up to the sort of the date and thinking, yes, it will just happen. You know, I've decided to do this, that's why, you know, it's going to happen.
Yeah.
And finance can be very serious.
Well,
Ends a lot of relationships, etc. You know.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of marriages
arguments
break down.
over money, you mean?
Yeah, often that's how it really starts, and it gets very vicious as well, within marriages particularly. Yeah.
Do you find that's the case where maybe one part of a couple will come to you, Yvonne, and the other one doesn't come?
Yeah, it's something that you've both got to sing from the same hymn sheet on. You've got to look at what's coming in, what's going out, what's necessary to go out, you know, the roof over your head, etc. Then what can you afford to save? And then having a goal, something to save for, and putting it aside rather than just leaving it in an account where it's so easy to fritter it away.
Reading is one of the top things this year, David, seemingly.
I think this is an American list, actually, but you know, it's very odd to see, you know, reading a book as being one of the #1 items.
Yeah.
You know, and I think losing weight and exercising more, you know, we're talking about number 20 something.
Maybe that's why it isn't
scary. You know, you know, a fat bank account and a thin person, not the other way around, is what we're aiming for.
And what we've been talking about this morning, lots of people, probably like myself, will be thinking, right, you know, a bit more healthy, a bit more exercise, everything else. We do that every year.
But also mentally as well, obviously, reading books, you know. But if you're going to advance yourself, one of the key things we missed out when we're talking about the fiscal stuff is actually earning more.
Yeah.
getting yourself a better job, getting yourself into a better position.
Which would be great, but easier said than done in these difficult times.
Yeah.
Just in the last 30 seconds, very quickly, what are your New Year resolutions? David first.
Not to make resolutions, perhaps.
Yeah.
Not to pin myself up there and really, you know,
Yvonne,
ready for ridicule. Yes.
How about you, Yvonne?
Cancel the gym membership. Apparently 42% of people that start paying a gym membership in January don't go by the time it gets to the summer.
Right.
It's a big loss of
so
money.
So it can be a loss of money. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Interesting. A lady did email in earlier on. She's 65. She'd been for a run at 6 o'clock this morning. So maybe there's a lesson to us all there.
Well done.
Yvonne, David, thank you both very much indeed.
Thanks, Roger.
That's it for this morning. Charlie State and Sean Lloyd are here tomorrow from 6. They'll be talking to two of the makers of Sir David Attenborough's new TV series, Africa. From all the team, thank you very much indeed for watching. Have a great New Year's Day. From all of us, goodbye.